Let's continue this football conversation then and speak to Paul Barber, the CEO of Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club. His team currently sits 15th in the top flight. Their first game back is at home against Arsenal next Saturday. Paul, great to speak to you today. Given the decisions that we've seen by the French and also the League One and League Two leagues in the UK, in England, would you have preferred actually if this season had been cancelled entirely, given the relegation risk?
No, there's a risk of relegation every year. If you're a club in the lower half of the table, as we are, we're a small club. We're building our reputation and building our brand at the top level. So we go with that risk every season. I think from our point of view, we're very keen to finish the season. We always have been. We're very much looking forward to playing again in about 7 days' time.
How do you think the fans have taken this, Paul, and how do you think their loyalty has evolved?
Well, I think like all football fans, sports fans the world over, that the most enjoyable part of the experience is obviously being in the stadium. Obviously, TV viewers are very, very important to all of our sports at the top level, but having that great atmosphere in the stadium is what makes the TV production as well. So I think fans are disappointed they won't be able to come into the stadiums for the remainder of our 9 games this season, but I think they certainly understand that this has been a very difficult and very unusual situation that we've all been facing for the past 3 months.
Do you think it's going to make a difference that a lot of these games are going to be shown free to air? That hasn't been the case, of course, for a lot of the Premier League in recent years. Is there an opportunity in that somewhere?
I think so, because I think we give an opportunity to generate opportunities for new fans to come and watch our sport. I mean, we have a huge domination of live sport in this country. Football is our number one sport, it's our national sport. But there's still a lot of people that perhaps might get turned on to football over the next two months or so as they see games that they might not otherwise be able to see. We're looking forward to just getting back to playing and giving our business a chance to recover. We've worked very hard on all of the safety aspects of returning to play. And now I think from the players, the coaches, all the way through to the executives, we're all just looking forward now to getting on with the season and hopefully playing out the next 9 games as safely as we can.
Can you quantify, Paul, the financial damage that's been done to your club, to the league, and what kind of recovery you expect?
Well, it certainly runs into hundreds of millions of pounds. For our club, I think, we were projecting to lose a significant amount of money this year. That loss will probably be increased by around 50%. And that's with all of the terrific work that the Premier League have done to try and protect our TV revenues as far as they can. But unfortunately, we've got 9 games to go. 5 of those for us were in our home stadium. We would look to generate around 7 figures in revenue from each of those home games. So that's a significant amount of money that we won't be able to recover from not having fans in the stadium, buying food and drink, buying merchandise, selling corporate hospitality, selling match sponsorships. All of those things will be lost for this season. And obviously, if we go into next season without fans in the stadium, those losses increase further. So we're very much hoping that we don't get a second wave of the virus, that we can slowly but surely start to bring fans back into the stadium next season and start to actually reduce those losses.
Yeah, I understand that for smaller clubs, perhaps in the Premier League, it is the attendance revenues that matter, as a percentage of revenues more, I suppose. So is it a real priority for you then to get fans back? And do you have any visibility as to when and how that might be possible?
Well, for the Premier League clubs, all of our income is largely dominated by the TV revenues. But fans in the stadium is important for a couple of reasons. First of all, the TV, the broadcasters want those stadiums to be full. The Premier League has got a wonderful record over the last 28 years of playing its games in front of full stadiums every week, every game, which generates a great atmosphere, which creates a great TV product, which of course then helps us sell that TV product around the world. So that's the first and most important reason for getting fans back in the stadium. But fans make the game, and that atmosphere and that sort of special attraction that we have for football in this country is not the same without the fans. And of course, when they do come to the stadium, they're also spending a lot of money on tickets, on hospitality, on merchandise, on food and drink, and all those sorts of things. So it is very important for lots of reasons for us to get fans back in the stadium. When that will happen, I think it's very, very much down to the government. We would like to see it happen as soon as it's possibly safe for it to do so, even if that means starting with a small number of fans in the stadium, socially distanced, so that we can manage that process. And then as we build confidence, bringing more fans back into the stadium over the course of the season. Ideally, we would like to start next season with some fans in the stadium, but we're going to be totally governed by what the government and what the Premier League say. And of course, most importantly, when it's safe and if it's safe for people to do that.
Paul, if I look through a bank of private equity news headlines on the Bloomberg, I see a lot about football in there. Blackstone's interested. CVC is looking at deals across Europe. Bain Capital is looking at Italian possibilities. Do you see a pickup in private equity interest? They've obviously got a ton of money, and a lot of these clubs are in financially difficult situations. Are the vultures circling, so to speak?
Well, I'm sure, as always, there's going to be people looking to take advantage of the difficult situation, and perhaps some clubs are going to be more vulnerable now or more open to that kind of investment than they might have been. Football is the number one sport in the world. It's always going to be attractive to investors, particularly in Europe, where the game is an obsession for most people in most countries. So I always think that our industry, even in these most difficult times, even in recessions, has been attractive to investors. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.